Welcome, here I've got Samsung Galaxy M52 5G and let me show you how to use Camera Pro mode at this device. So let's start by tapping on camera button to open it, and for now we are on standard photo mode, so we have to change it. Let's do it by using this settings bar and just simply going to right to more. Here we get access to more modes of this camera and one of them is Pro, so let's pick it. Here we are. This mode gives us possibilities to choose some shooting parameters by ourselves. This is useful when we want to learn photographic skills or making experiments with photography. So let me start with this settings bar. Let's go from the left. The first one option here we can adjust is the ISO, so we can change camera's sensitivity to light. And by using this slider, we can make it less sensitive from 50 or more sensitive to 3 and 2000 of it. So this is really wide spectrum like this type of camera. I think it's really professional. Of course, there's no problem to go back to auto ISO. We have to simply tap to manual button from the right and it change it to the auto now. Let's move to the second option, the shutter speed, so we can manage the time of taking photo. By using this slider and going to the left, we can make it shorter. The shortest here is 1 and 6,000 of second, so it should be better to objects, for example in move with a good light. By going to the right, we can check the longest here, 10 seconds, so it should be better to objects that are stable, or if we want to have some blur at our picture. And of course, to go back to auto shutter speed, we have to tap again to manual button and it changes to the auto. Now let's move to the third option. Here we have exposure compensation, so we can manage the light of our picture in kind of basic way. We are on 0 parameter. By going to right, we can make our picture more bright, as you can see. By going to left, we can make it more dark. To go back to auto, here we have to simply slide to 0. But I want to show you also that when we adjust the shutter speed, the exposure compensation button is locked, because shutter speed together with ISO are kind of advanced light managing. As you can see, when we adjust them together, we can manage the light of the picture, so we don't need this exposure compensation option. Now let's stay on manual and move to the next one option, the focusing. Here we are on AF from autofocus, but by using this slider we can change it to MF, to manual one, and adjust focusing easily like that. And of course, there's no problem to go back to AF again. We have to tap to manual button. Let's move to the next one option, the white balance, so we can manage the temperature of our picture in Kelvin degrees. By using this slider and going to the left, we can make our photo more cold, more blue. By going to the right, we can make it more warm, more orange. So this is kind of balance between warm and cold tones of our photo. And of course, we can tap to manual to go back to auto white balance here. And let's move to the last one option, these standard settings. When we tap here, we get access to a few other buttons and we can adjust some kind of filter we can add to our picture before we take it. I think this is really professional here. Usually photographers use this after taking the photo, not before. So let me start maybe from the left with the contrast. We can make our photo more contrasted or less contrasted, as you can see. Maybe let me show you also this kind of view. The next one thing here is the highlight, so the parts of our photo that are in light, and we can make them more lighted or less, as you can see. And let's move to the next one option, the shadows. So of course we can make more shadow to our picture or less here. The next one option is saturation of colors, so we can make our picture more colorful with more saturation or less to kind of black and white. And the last thing we can adjust here is the tint, so the balance between the green and pink tones of our photo. So I think these settings here are really cool. I want to show you also that when we adjust all of these parameters manually, we don't have to separately go back to auto settings. we have to simply slide a little bit to the left, and here we have reset button. So for now all of them go to auto and we can start using this from the beginning. And for now let's move to this settings bar. Most of the settings we have also in standard photo mode, but I want to show you the right corner button. Here we can pick the mattering from center weighted to matrix and the spot one. Now let's keep it like that and let me adjust all of these parameters to take a picture. So let's start with the ISO, maybe here, then shutter speed, here. As I said, the exposure compensation button now is locked because we used ISO and shutter speed together. Then focusing, the white balance a little bit warmer, and let's move to standard settings, so more contrasted picture, maybe less highlight, but more shadows, and more colorful with the balance to pink. To see my photo, we have to go to left to the button that follows us straight to the gallery, so this is how it looks like. I suggest you to making experiments with all of these settings and just have a good fun. Thanks for watching, subscribe our channel and leave the thumbs up.